I want to share a little bit more about me personally. So, I feel that if I'm a little bit closer, I feel like we're actually speaking. But if I'm leaning back, I feel like I'm not really talking to you, you know? There's something about that. I know that what I've gone through can seem for many that I've been traumatized. I get that. And in one way, they're right. I have been. And the experience that I've had in the dualistic perspective, once I saw the truth of what was going on, how much they were actually not my friend. They actually thought bad of me, or they judged me. In the energetic world, they said something else. But then they thought and judged. And I've seen that clearly. And I've taken actions towards that. Towards correcting my behavior. Because of what I saw. Because it wasn't just one person. I saw my entire life. What people call friends. Like I would say I didn't have friends. Because it was all some sort of manipulation there. I haven't actually had a friend that have truly cared for me. And I thought I did. I thought I had friends. I thought that things were different. I've just seen much more of this world. And this was my awakening, because I see more. I see the truth of what's going on now. It really shook me. And I was living in a fantasy. I was living in a fantasy of thinking that friends did this thing and this thing, when I felt something else that I was trained to disregard and people seem to ignore. And so I did what I could, and that is to start to talk to at least the closest people about this, to explain. And then I saw they had some stuff too, and when I told them, it wasn't taken well, because it was some sort of manipulation in there. It wasn't a true, genuine, I want to really get to know you and learn from you. And it was manipulative. And that was the training that I went through. And I went through that training not knowing what will be on the other side. Actually, I was quite naive. I was very naive about people and their true intentions, and that some people are actually quite cruel. I know what their potential is because I can see it so clearly, but then some people just, I don't even think that it's the soul. It's just some energies have just gotten a hold of certain people. And of course, they are choosing that. But the manipulation is such that they think that that's the closest thing and that just makes sense to them in their world, the view, right? And this is what most people's issue is. The world view. and how you actually see the world. Because that is something that shapes everything. It shapes all your experiences. And there is a way to see things accurately. That is what needs to happen for true healing to happen. You must see the truth. And of course, you have to feel through the body. Many beings know that. You have to feel through the trauma and all of that. But I would say it's not the most important thing. Because, okay, you've held through the trauma, but if you haven't comprehended the lessons from a soul perspective of what your body truly needs from you, what boundary do you need to inject? Where can you open up more and be more vulnerable? Where are you too hard? Like looking truly honestly and learning the truth of energy. That is why I created the Holistic Optimizer, link in the bio, so that people can learn the truth about energy and how it actually works, and train to start to develop that skill again. That is your intuition. That is your psychic abilities. That is all of your... But it's more than that. Because many beings are stuck in this limitation that psychic is only through thoughts. It's only a certain way. There are so many ways to be limited that I have some keys for to open up in people's psyche. But I do, and that's why that is my that is my joy actually to do, because I can see how perfect I am for that job, because I can see your light, and I can see what it takes if you are truly ready to see though. If you still think that I'm full of shit, then you're not ready to see this. Because you can still be traumatized, but you are operating in a different frequency, taking care of the body, knowing what needs to happen for the body to get to where it needs to be. It's not at least I've heard and seen these kind of miraculous healing things. I haven't developed my healing capabilities to that extent yet to be able to do that. What I have developed is more of a very traditional methodology of knowing energy, knowing how it moves naturally, and working with it, encouraging it, directing it. And that is what is so valuable today. Knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. And when I say yours, you won't know your soul's. That's why you need someone like me to point it out to you. But you know your bodies. You can see and observe your body from an outsider, because you are actually. You don't have to identify with this body, because this body is just temporary for you, because you're the soul. So you have to realize that you are the soul, so that, and know the energy game, so that you can actually start to do the right thing. Start to train to look at it this way. This is what the Course in Miracles, this is what A Course in Miracles is talking about. It is to see things accurately. They're talking about forgiveness, and that tripped me up a lot. It's not about forgiveness. Like I think I've read this book so many times, but at one part of the journey I was looking to find out what forgiveness actually meant. But it is just this: staying in truth with what the energy and what actually is going on, not creating stories of illusions. And that's what many beings are still doing, thinking that they're spiritual and all embodied and everything is fine. And because of the experience that I had, my higher self just became available with many of these initiations, where I took a lot of energy, attack, and I transmuted it into power for my growth. And that's what I'm teaching you in the program. And with that, you know, and you don't actually need, when you see all the connections, you don't need therapy. If you do, you know exactly what you need it for, and you know how to read and know when you don't need it anymore. So you're not at anyone's mercy. Because many beings go to therapy believing the therapists, and then they don't even know exactly, they're just going there to heal. And then they keep going back, and then there's suddenly package pricing, and suddenly we're talking about something else. You know, it's this unseen. We have to be real with that. This money game exchange. There is a codependency even there. Not for everyone. Not everyone operates like that. But many still. And so that's why I'm so passionate to empower people to learn their own energy. That's why I'm sharing this with you. That's why I'm so passionate about this. Because so many beings, I know so many beings will really snap out of it and actually get how this game works. Because that is what my gift is. That is what all of this alchemy was for me. Was to actually come to this realization about life through this body. This is what it is like to awaken the body, awaken the senses, awaken you as a soul in these bodies. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm teaching you in this channel.